Good afternoon and welcome to another show of On Brand from Muse by Clio. I'm Nicole Purcell, the president of the Clio Awards. And before I bring out my co-host, Mr. Tim Nudd, we have a quick word from our partners at Salesforce. Hey, Tim, how you doing?
Hi, Nicole. Doing well. What's happening with you?
I am so excited for today's guest, not only because I'm allowed to drink a New York wine from Sag Harbor, Wolf State, but also because she's my best friend for over 10 years.
Crazy.
Nancy Mamana, we live together, we travel together, everything. We've even partnered together in business. So Amazing. I'm so excited for today.
Very cool. Well, she's also the CMO of NYC Co, the official marketing, tourism, and partnership organization for the city of New York. And of course, as we know, many cities have been through a lot during COVID, but New York obviously was the epicenter of the pandemic for a while. And, a lot of questions remain, how New York's going to recover, what the future of tourism looks like. But, as usual, the city has been as resilient as ever in fighting back with pride and purpose.
I'm here to help that, by the way.
For sure. Let's welcome Nancy Mamana.
Thank you so much.
Nance.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for having me.
I feel like I just saw you.
I know. It's been so long.
Well, how we start this all the time, and I know a lot about you, but I'm still going to ask things, obviously. Working from home, I know you've done it in the past with other jobs, but now during COVID, personally, how's it been for you? Where are you living? How's it going? How do you feel about it?
Well, as you know, Nicole, ironically, I left the city, living in the city for about 9 years altogether, and left to go back to Westchester right before I got this job. So it's very ironic. But the city, I'm in and out frequently, and it's very close to my heart. And obviously was commuting in up until March, where we've all been, working from home as we kind of figure out what the future looks like for the office. So we did that right away, pretty soon after the shutdown happened in March. And we've been adapting. I think it's been working, fine, but I think we all miss the interaction. So we're going to see what happens before the end of the year.
Well, I'm glad that you have a backyard. That's helpful for me, and also your nephew Milo, who says hello. That makes us both happy to come once a week. How do you feel with what's been going on with the city? I mean, obviously, we both love New York City and seeing everything that's been going on. Personally, how are you feeling what's going on? I know at times I feel devastated, obviously how I feel, but I also still love this city and I miss the culture, but, still trying to do things.
Yeah, it's been tough to say the least. It's been challenging for many reasons. But as we all know, and those of us I've been in New Yorker my whole life. I went to college in New York. I went to grad school in New York. So I've never left, for better or worse. And we've seen challenges before. We are very resilient, to say the least. And the people that are still in the city and those who have the city in their hearts know what that strength is all about and what that resiliency is all about. And that's what's going to get us through. I mean, I think the way we've attacked the virus and gotten the numbers down and flattened the curve, so to speak, is indicative of that. And we just have to keep moving forward. I mean, we've approached it like we do everything else, world-class style and effort and strength. And we just have to keep forward motion. We have to keep the momentum and move ourselves in a forward direction, and we will come out of this. I mean, the whole world is affected. Every major city has dealt with the challenges that we've been dealing with lately. So we're positive that we're starting to see daylight in a lot of ways with our culturals reopening and more attractions opening, and it's just we just got to keep plugging along.
Before we get into NYC Co, I wanted to ask both of you actually kind of like your favorite must-visit NYC spots, whether it's restaurants, museums, other cultural places. Would love you guys to just give some shout outs to places that you couldn't do without.
Can I do one first? Because we're going there actually this Friday night is one of my favorite. Bar Italia on the Upper East Side. Very excited for that one. Also on the Upper East Side, Avra on Madison, which great Greek food. So love those. And me and Nancy go to them all the time.
Yeah. I'm a restaurant girl. I worked at Patina Restaurant Group before coming over to NYC Company, and I am very much all about all places to eat throughout the boroughs. I also happen to love the High Line. It's one of my favorite places.
So good.
And the museums, of course. So, and just being out in the park and kind of taking advantage of all the outdoor space, which has really come in handy these days.
I live right by Lincoln Center, as Nancy knows. So we love going to the ballet over there, the opera, the Philharmonic. So that's being missed completely. And also one of the restaurants that you used to work on, or two of the restaurants you used to work on, Lincoln, and the Grand Tier at the Met Opera. That was so amazing. So that's hard to be without. All of that is hard to be without right now.
Yes, two of my favorites. Yeah.
I've been gone from the city for 11 years now, but I did live up in Inwood at the end, and I remember the Cloisters was one of my favorite spots. You know, it's remarkable how many, you know, how big New York is and how many amazing places there are within.
So many.
That's right. That's
Crazy.
right.
You know, Nancy, the city was pretty much completely shut down for so long, and as an organization to marketing the city, and they must have put you guys in such a sort of a weird spot. You know, how did you guys react to that situation when people couldn't visit New York and in many ways, you know, didn't want to visit New York?
Yeah, we had to take a moment and pivot entirely. Pivot, I guess, is the word of the year.
Yeah.
So you know, we're responsible for driving visitation, and all of a sudden, you know, can't do that, and we really still can't do that with the inbound quarantines and the travel restrictions. We had to change our approach completely. So the first thing we did was to form a coalition for recovery, for tourism and hospitality recovery, which we did with many of the same folks that were on the governor's task force and on the mayor's task force across our community, really the best and the brightest across all of our tourism and hospitality sectors, to begin to think about the roadmap for recovery. And we published a document, I believe in June, that articulates what we feel our roadmap is and our road ahead in every sector against every audience, and how we are approaching recovery. But we went inward and began talking to locals for the first time, really exclusively. You know, we do Restaurant Week, as you may know, Broadway Week, Must See Week. Those are our programs, Off-Broadway Week. Primarily, we do get a tri-state and local audience for those programs. We are expanding that with every passing year, but primarily we do speak to locals in tri-state. Really, we're honing in on that, and that's why we developed a new campaign, which we'll talk about a little bit. But it was designed to talk to New Yorkers. It's really our chance to have a dialogue with the people that have stuck it out, that are in New York, that are living here, working here, making New York City tick. And you know, in the beginning, it was really about sharing information, protocols, what are the guidelines, what's happening, what's closing, what's opening, and full transparency as we're getting it, filtering it, dissecting it, and putting it back out, and helping our members. We have over 2,000 members of the business community. We're a membership-based organization. So it was helping potential visitors and locals understand what was going on from an information perspective, and helping our members understand what resources were available to them and beyond. We put out a video pretty early on that was really just meant to create some uplifting, hopeful messaging out there. We were able to get Debbie Mazar to donate her services to voiceover, and that was very much of the moment. You know, we're going through a tough time, but kind of a hang in there message very early on. And now we're beginning our programming, but it's really still just talking to locals with a slight expansion to the drive market, which is where we're going to be for some time. And we're monitoring the situation with the airlines and obviously all of our travel partners. But we are now at the point where we can begin encouraging people to go out and support their local businesses in a safe, responsible manner, because we don't want our small businesses to disappear during this challenging time. So it's really up to New Yorkers to help support them, and in a way that, again, is very responsible and safe. But now is the time to do that, and we have a program launching in a couple of weeks that will be designed to do that. So we really just had to go inward and make sure that we were connecting with locals in a very real way, and we will have a concentric circle approach to our marketing for the time being. So locals in the 5 boroughs, drive market, tri-state. At some point, we'll expand to domestic U.S. when we can. And then international when everyone is ready, when border restrictions are lessened, flight routes open up, but that's not going to be for some time. So everything's changed.
Yeah. Being a New Yorker, obviously, and working for NYC Co, do you feel the city is going to come back to what it was? Do you feel like it's changed forever? One thing I get pissed at, I could say pissed because we're not like on a network or anything, right? You know, I hate when people are saying New York's never coming back and it's never going to be the same. And I love what Jerry Seinfeld put out in the New York Times. Obviously, I'm pushing that out as much as possible, and I'm trying to tell people to come in. What do you feel?
Of course we're coming. Of course we're coming. I mean, there's not a question that we're coming back. Are things going to be different? Probably. I don't know that we'll be in a time where, or not for the foreseeable future, when we won't be wearing masks, or we might need more social distancing. You know, things will be adapted so that we can go on. But that's what New York City is. I mean, we are tough, we are resilient, and we will figure it out. We will keep going. So there's no question. It's just a matter of, you know, how long that's going to take. We're taking our lumps along the way. I mean, obviously, with our businesses and all, you know, challenges, most people working from home still. So we've got a long road ahead. So no one's denying that. But that's who we are as a city and as a people. So there's no question about that. We'll be back.
Yes, I believe that. I have to believe that. NYC Co, without tourism, how do you guys survive? How do you move forward? I know you're doing a lot for the locals, but how long does that go until you guys can, you know, survive? Not even as a company, campaigns, bringing people here. How does that work?
Yeah, well, we're a 501c6 nonprofit. Half of our budget comes from the city through the mayor's office, and the other half we raise through membership dues, ad sales revenue, corporate sponsors. MasterCard is our global partner for 3 years, and we are very much.
They're awesome.
They're fantastic. Yeah. And they're a great partner, and they're helping support our upcoming campaigns, and have really been there for us. So obviously, we are not a city agency. We are a private agency with a city contract, but we are sort of lumped in with other city agencies. And as part of the budget process, we sometimes feel the same pain of cuts as they do. So we have experienced that, and that's, you know, not really a surprise given the challenges the city has been facing. But you know, we are hopeful that we will continue that funding. But we have definitely suffered. We have had to furlough over half our staff because of the revenue shortages that we've had. But we're going. I mean, we're continuing. We have, you know, allocated the funds that we have available toward these upcoming campaigns. We continue to show value to our members who are also suffering. So it's really just about getting through this time when we are able to, and we will. We've really streamlined our operations. We've streamlined our staffing, but we've left ourselves enough to do what we need to do, which is to start driving some, you know, our mission is to drive economic prosperity to the city. If we can't do that through our tourists, we're going to do it hopefully through our locals, and make sure we're providing value or helping our member businesses. So we're hopeful that we're just going to get through it until things start to normalize again.
Yeah.
Right what you just said to me, you're an essential business then. You're an essential business for New York. It's so important.
Well, we've seen the pain of not having tourists, right? I mean, you know, all of a sudden when you don't have any, I mean, there are virtually no tourists here right now. And you see the economic impact, you know, live and in color, unfortunately, when we don't have that. So clearly we're not ready to do that yet, which is, you know, fine. But when we are going to need to come back with something, you know, big, and we do need resources to make those things happen. I mean, we had 17 international offices in our key feeder markets around the world. We've suspended operations with them as of April. We will handle all of that in-house, and as long as we need to, we will get it done as we need to. But obviously, with lack of, you know, with reduced funding, we have, you know, reduced impact. So we are, you know, just again trying to get through it and begin to spur local spending as we can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Nancy, you mentioned the All In NYC campaign, so I'd love to talk about that briefly. You know, that was a campaign that came together through a program that NYC and Company and Clio did together, seeking campaign ideas. Which is cool. I'd love to, maybe we could roll the 30 and just have a look at the work, and then we can chat about it.
It's great.
right there just shows how much there is in New York that most people don't even know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it also raises the spirits of New Yorkers too, I imagine. So I'd love to hear all about this. I think you worked with an agency on it. Can you tell us, who made it, what you liked about the idea, and also how you activated it in different ways?
Yes, this is very exciting for us. So we needed some help. We needed some creative help. Again, right in the beginning of the shutdown, we did have to furlough most of our staff. So we needed to reach out. And my first thought was to go to Nicole, to the Clio network, to put out an RFP for pro bono help. We needed a new campaign, rally cry. When you think about I Love New York, it's a very deceptively simple notion. And we wanted something along those lines for the city. That's a statewide motto, even though you see it in the city, that's really New York State's line. And we connect to that at times, but we needed something of our own for locals. So we put out the brief. It just so happened that the agency we picked was a New York-based agency, Our Leadin, female-owned, located downtown, small but really impactful shop, very, very creative. And they partnered with us, and it was their idea. And it just felt, again, very elegant in its simplicity, in that we could apply it and extend it to different audiences and to different constituencies and different applications. And that's exactly what it's proven to do. And it's a rally cry for our New Yorkers. And it's meant to, obviously it has a double or triple meaning here when you think about all the things that are in New York City, but also that the people are in New York are all in. I mean, if you live in New York City, you're all in. You will have to be on a good day. It's hard sometimes to live in New York City. But now, for the people that have toughed it out, you're all in. And it's not something we have to teach people. It's something that they have inside of them in their hearts. And even the people that, again, are not living in New York, but are New Yorkers at heart, they feel that. We have people all around the world that are, showing us the love for New York City and can't wait to come back. So the idea started out as our recovery platform, and it really has expanded to be really our marketing platform as we see ourselves through to recovery. So we came out with the first 30-second spot. What you just played was our follow-up to that, and we have an ad campaign that began running. We did 15-second spots, one per borough in 2 waves. We, alongside Our Lead in donating their creative services around the development of the idea, we have a network of photographers that were friends and family of ours and Our Lead's that have also donated their time and services. So all the work that you see in the creative has just been shot. We've been sending people out every week or so because we want to show people in masks enjoy New York City. It's a new normal, and that's okay. You could still enjoy New York the same way you did before, in a more responsible manner. So we've refreshed all of our photography and are continuing to do so. We just sent people out this weekend as the culturals are opening. We want to see people in museums or online for places and, wearing their mask and socially distancing and out and about. That we need to spread some positive messaging out there. So this is all refreshed, and it has really taken a village, and it will now house all of the things that we're doing through recovery. So we have a staycation guide program. It's all in NYC staycation guides. We have a campaign launching September 15th, which will take the place of Restaurant Week, which is called All in NYC neighborhood guides. So all open sectors will be able to participate, and you don't even have to be a member of NYC Company to join, but any restaurant with outdoor dining, retail outlet, culturals, attractions, really anybody that really wants in our purview can join with their own offer. We're not holding anyone to a 2-for-1 or any prefix menu. We need to suit the times we're in. So we want as much participation as possible, and then we will lift that up in our channel. So All In has really become a repository for everything we're doing, and it's extending out. So we're working with the EDC to begin speaking to the business community outside of tourism and hospitality, so the real estate community, construction, et cetera. Really, they're adapting it. We've had bids taken on. We've developed a toolkit so our partners in business can take the graphics, take the video tips and guidelines, and blow it out. And we want to take the approach that we did with World Pride last year, which is, we painted the town proud. We had our visual, our rainbow everywhere because we wanted to be welcoming. There was some consistency in the visuals. So we're looking to take the same approach here. So we've sent the toolkit out to our partners, to all the bids that we're interacting with, small businesses, our member businesses, all the constituencies across City Hall. MOM has been great to us, the Mayor's Office of Media and Entertainment. Through that relationship, we were able to get the VMAs to post about All In. This past Sunday, you'll see the spot coming up attached to the U.S. Open, so more to come on that. So everybody's really rallied around the cause, and we've just been very lucky to find this agency through Clio, because it's something that has just organically expanded and blossomed for it. And we're committed to this brand platform for quite some time. We're some our brand revitalization platform, which is really what we need right now. We need some revitalization.
Yes, we do.
It's amazing that they would, that they provided that stuff for free too. That's super helpful. Also, I know you guys did, I think, a public art initiative too. Outdoor spaces in New York are so important. Can you sort of talk about what that was about as well?
Yeah, we have a long-standing relationship with the Public Art Fund. So it started there, where they were commissioning 50 artists. They had a program called Art on the Grid, where they commissioned 50 artists. They were paid around the 5 boroughs to create art, and we took our inventory. We have, through our city contract, an inventory of out-of-home media through NYC Co. So NYC Co has partnered with us and Public Art Fund separately over the years. So they've also supplemented our inventory with some additional, so that we can basically create a gallery experience in the city using this bus shelter space. So it has been curated so that you could actually tour the art all across the 5 boroughs. So we've created a destination on our website where you could see where the art lives and then what's available to see nearby, to just create some early staged exploration so people can go. It's free, see the art, and if you happen to go somewhere, here are the restaurants that are open, attractions that are open nearby. It's something that's very uniquely New York. But then it expanded, so it just happened that other institutions were also doing public art. So they were brought together, and we also aggregated that content on our site. So across 10 to 20 institutions who were all independently doing their own public art exhibitions, we brought that all together, mapped it, and again, helped people explore what was nearby. Again, it's free, and it's very uniquely New York City. So we wanted to highlight that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know you also mentioned the coalition that sort of helped you guys bring this all together. Could you just explain a little bit more about what that coalition entailed, and are these new relationships that you're working with new people, and has that been, how has that been working on that together?
We have brought together partners, past, present, future, for this coalition. We have a steering committee that is really made of the heads of institutions across the city, and under the leadership of folks like Danny Meyer, Emily Rafferty, Manuel Miranda, John Tisch, and Charles Flateman, who is the head of student organization. He is the chairman of our board. Emily Rafferty is the former chairman of our board, as well as the Metropolitan Museum. So folks that have sort of been through 9/11 and other challenges are still with us, alongside our CEO, Fred Dixon. And they've been leading the charge as we've kind of moved forward with regular calls with a steering committee and a group of allied organizations that have their own membership attached to them, that have helped guide the way as we've developed this roadmap. And we have continued our ongoing calls to just help provide sort of steerage as to where we're going, how we're devoting our resources, challenges that are out there across various sectors. It's just been a good touch point as we move forward to talk about various issues. We're bringing speakers in and really keeping the dialogue going at a leadership level. So we remain tapped in, and we will continue that dialogue as long as it's needed.
What are some critical next steps for NYC Co as we're starting to reopen now?
I mean, the best thing that anybody can do is to support their local businesses and support our program. So we're looking for amplification around neighborhood getaways. Again, that will launch September 15th. We need people to go out and spend money and visit their local businesses to keep them alive. And that's our locals. We're kind of fishing where the fish are. So we're very focused on that campaign right now. And any way we can lift it up, that's what we're doing. And again, we're not talking to tourists for some time. So any way we can help lift that up and amplify it and continue to provide support to our members who are in that program, and expanding our membership reach to the businesses that might want to engage with us, who could benefit from our services. We want to continue talking to small business, getting into the boroughs and the neighborhoods that we may not have engaged in the past. I mean, that's a top priority for us right now. We need to be of service everywhere. So we're using this program as a way to bring people into the fold with us. There's no cost to join, and we want to. There's no downside to getting on board. We want to help lift up our businesses. So that's where we'll be focused through the end of the year.
So final question. What are you most personally hopeful for in the next 6 to 12 months?
I'm hopeful for Broadway to come back. And I'm hopeful for indoor dining to come back.
Yes.
Those are two things that we really, really need. And I know the Broadway community, Charlotte St. Martin is the president of the Broadway League, is on our steering committee. And I know they are feverishly working with experts in every field to get that solved. And it will happen when they are ready. But that is, I know, feverishly in the works. And we need our restaurants to be whole.
So important.
For so many reasons, for our companies to come back, for their employees to come back to work and have restaurants to go to, for the people in our restaurant community who need their jobs back, and for the people who own those restaurants to be able to stay afloat. It's a part of the fabric of New York City to have our restaurants. We're not New York City without our restaurants. I don't know that anybody would argue with that. So I'm hopeful that this will be resolved and they will be back. Those are two major initiatives and benchmarks that we need to reach before we can begin to think about being recovered. So I'm hopeful about that.
I am hopeful about that too. I am all in NYC. I am all in Nancy Mamana. I am so proud of you, of everything that you've done in this NYC Co. and for the city. I know how hard you work. So thank you for sitting with us. I love you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I will say too, I think a lot of the rest of the country is all in for NYC as well.
Yeah.
I think.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're rooting for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This has been great.
Yeah, thanks
for
coming
in.
Hopefully
that was just amazing for me.
That's very cool. Hopefully we'll see New York back to its old self.
I don't doubt it whatsoever. We're actually going bowling, Nancy and I, in next weekend, and classical music on a rooftop. So there's things happening, and we're just going to keep going as much as possible, and it will come back, I'm sure.
No doubt.
Thank you, Tim.
Thanks, Nicole. Good to see you.
Good to see you.
And thank you guys for watching. For the latest in creativity every day, check out musebyclio.com. And of course, we're back here every Thursday with new episodes of On Brand. So thanks for watching.